Hey everyone, welcome back. Here's part 3 of this story. Let's jump right in together. Jian Cheng was typing quickly on his laptop, eye darting over the screen. He was so absorbed that he didn't notice someone approach until he felt a sudden weight on his back. He froze, then snapped the laptop shut in a blink. What are you doing? He asked, irritation lacing his voice. I think you should be the one answering that. His manager Sia shot back. I've noticed you avoiding your actual job and staying glued to your laptop. God not doing what. All your work is piling up. It's nothing personal, Jian countered. Sir asked me to do it. Sia narrowed her eyes. And what is it exactly? She asked suspicious. Sir told me to keep it a secret. He said. You know he doesn't hide anything from me. Then go ask him, Jian challenged, leaning back in his chair. Sia's patience snapped. Don't cross your limits just because I'm friendly with you. He simply shrugged. I'm just following the boss orders. Sia, in truth, was a very close friend of Wing, and she intended to keep it that way forever. That was why, when her father asked her to join his company, she refused, claiming she wanted to be independent and earn her place somewhere else. That somewhere ended up being here in Wing's company. Without another word, she marched to Wing's cabin, determined to get answers. She barged in and sat down, crossing her legs. She wasn't leaving until she got answers. I think I've totally spoiled you, Wing said without looking up from his paperwork. You don't even know you should ask before barging into your boss's cabin. She cut straight to the point. What task did you give him? Wing looked up, slightly confused. Clarify your question. What secret task did you give that nutshell? And what does it have to do with you? Wing asked playfully. Everything related to you is my concern. Now just tell me. Calm down, he said with a faint smile. I told him to bring me a wedding planner. Her shoulders relaxed until the next sentence. So, whose wedding are you planning? Mine, Wing said flatly. Wait, what did you say? She nearly tripped from her chair. You heard me. Yeah, but I don't get it. How? When? I mean, when did you decide? And why didn't I know anything about this? She let out a humorless laugh. And when exactly were you planning to tell me, huh? Relax, okay? Wing said evenly. It's not something I plan to do. It was decided by Dad. I'm just flowing along. It was a surprise for me as well. She had tried to compose herself, knowing that even though Wing cared for her deeply, he didn't rate her overstepping boundaries. Still, her heart was far from calm. Inside, she was reeling. She wanted to scream at him. How could he do this? She had been by his side since the day she first saw him in sixth grade, secretly hoping he would one day notice her. Sure, she had dated a few boys in college, but that was only because Wing never looked at her the way she wished he would. No matter how hard she tried, when her mother died and her world fell apart, it was Bing who had been there for her, making sure she never felt alone. Since then, she had wanted nothing to change, that they would always stay together. So you let your father make that decision for you? She asked with quiet restraint. Wing had never shown interest in anyone, and she had always made sure it stayed that way. She accompanied him everywhere, whether it was an official event or casual clubbing, anything to ensure no one else could get close. This was the same reason why, when Jian Ching came looking for a job, she had even manipulated the situation to replace being secretary with him, all to keep herself in the orbit she'd built. But now, despite all her scheming, she was going to lose him. No, she refused to accept defeat so easily. He said it was someone his father had chosen for him. Of course, Mr. V had never liked her, but that meant Wing didn't love that person yet, and she would make sure it never happened. She snapped out of her thought when she heard his voice. Where are you lost? I'm calling you. We're getting late for our meeting, and it's your job to remind me, not the other way around. She didn't reply. She simply stood up and left the cabin with him. Wangji had left his studio early today, though reluctantly. That morning, his father had informed him he needed to go shopping for his marriage, something he had absolutely no desire to do. But everything about this wedding was being handled by a planner, hired by Wing. They didn't need to lift a finger for the arrangements. Rich people. Wangji thought, seemed to plan weddings like they were throwing elaborate parties. Shopping was the only part he actually had to manage himself. It wasn't the act of shopping that had him on edge, it was the person he would be shopping with. Today was the day he was finally going to meet his husband to be. Since it was decided they'd be married within the week, Wangji had half expected Wing to call him at least once, but he never did. Every time something wedding related came up, it was Sujui, the wedding planner, who called him. And truthfully, Wangji was glad. He had no idea how he would have responded if Wing himself had called. Like now, every part of him wanted to turn his car around and drive back to the studio. But today or tomorrow, he'd have to face it. He parked outside the mall and sat there unmoving. His phone rang. It was Soyan. So, how is he? Did you see him yet? Wangji answered. Well, I just pulled up outside the mall. So, what are you waiting for? Hurry up. Believe me, you don't want to show up late on your first date. It's not a date, Wangji protested. Does it matter? Soyang argued. You're going to enjoy your time together. That's basically what people do on a date. I'm already freaking out. Don't make it worse. And why that? Soyang asked. He's a total stranger, Wang Ji admitted quietly. And I don't make good first impressions. What if I'm not what he expected? Soyang's tone softened. Has he talked to you that you're a stranger to him too? Maybe he's freaking out as well, trying to make a good impression. And hey, there was a time when I was a stranger to you. Now look at us, big league. He's not going to hurt you, even if he doesn't like what he sees. He's not stupid. He knew what could come with this marriage when he agreed to it. Besides, you won't find out anything if you lock yourself inside your car. Wangji gave a low chuckle. The knot in his chest loosened slightly. He needed that. Okay, I'm heading inside. Call you later, he said before hanging up. The mall was unlike anywhere Wangji had ever been. Expensive designer clothing hung neatly in glass displays. There were sections for wedding attire, formal wear, casual clothing. Beyond that, a food court, a gaming station where children danced in front of flashing machines. He scanned his section carefully but saw no one he recognized. 1 hour passed, still no sign of Wayne. Even the store staff began glancing at him with suspicion as he wandered aimlessly like a lost customer. At first, Wangji thought maybe Wing was running late, so he waited patiently. But after this long, surely he should have been informed if something had come up. He didn't know whom to call. He couldn't just walk out. What if Wing arrived and didn't find him? He had to tell someone. Then it came to him. Sujui, the planner. The planner was the only person who could tell him where Wing was, beside his father, and Wangji didn't want to trouble his dad. He called. Wangji, how's shopping going? Sujui's voice was as bright as ever. Wangji hesitated, embarrassed to admit it. Actually, I've been alone here. I don't know what to do. Sujui paused, surprised. I made the schedule 2 days ago because Wing was free today, so where is he? He told Wangji to stay put while he found out. Sometime later, Wangji's phone rang again. There was some misunderstanding, Suji said apologetically. That's why Wing didn't show up. Go to the food court and wait. He'll be there soon. I'll make sure of it. Wangji didn't want to wait another second, but he told himself what would he say to his father if he just left. Besides, Wang was probably far busier than him. Weekday shopping might simply be difficult for him. After some time, a sleek black car pulled up outside. Wangji, who had been standing in the food court with an untouched drink, straightened immediately. His chest tightened, eyes scanning eagerly for that familiar face he'd been imagining all day. But when the door opened, the man who stepped out was a stranger. He was impeccably dressed, a polished figure moving with brisk purpose toward him. When he reached Wang Ji, he extended his hand with a courteous smile. I'm the secretary of Mr. V. I'm here to accompany you for the shopping. His hand lingered in midair. It took Wang Ji a moment to register the words. The surge of anticipation that had carried him through the long wait drained out of him all at once, leaving behind a dull, heavy disappointment. Still, he took the man's hand politely. Lan Wangji, he said simply. Jian Cheng caught the flicker of disappointment in Wangji's expression. He himself didn't understand why his boss hadn't come and had instead sent him. Trying to smooth the awkwardness, he added gently, "Something came up, so Mr. V couldn't make it." Wangji gave a short nod. "I understand." Then with quiet finality, "I don't want to do it anymore. I'm going home." "No, Mr. Lan, you can't go," Jian Cheng blurted, his tone tight with urgency. Wangji's brows drew together in confusion. "And why not?" "It was the boss's order," Jian Cheng explained, almost cautiously, "that I make sure all the shopping is completed today." Normally, Wangji's calm was unshakable, but now patience was sleeping. First, Bing hadn't shown up, then he'd sent a secretary to stand in for him, and now even leaving was somehow not an option. He was on the verge of refusing outright. But the look in Jian Cheng's eyes, a mix of nervous and silent pleading, gave him pause. With a slow exhale, he relented. He picked out a wedding suit without a shred of interest, didn't bother trying it on, and told Jian to choose anything that would fit Wing. When Jian noticed Wangji's stomach growling, he offered, "Let's eat something." Wangji shook his head. He just wanted to go home. Only then could he finally let himself sink into what had happened today, and the heavy, unanswered question gnawing at him, why? His mind kept circling back to it. Was Wang ignoring him on purpose? 2 days later, Wang sat in his office skimming through a scat of files Jianqing was showing him. Once they were done, he leaned back and asked, "What else do I have to do today?" "Sir, your schedule is clear," Jianqing replied. "Then let's go through our upcoming project plan again," Wang suggested. "Better to avoid mistakes." "But, sir," Jian Cheng hesitated. "Today you have to go choose your wedding cake and check the catering." Wing frowned. "So why are we paying a wedding planner if I have to do everything myself?" Jian answered carefully, choosing his words as though walking a tightrope. "Sir, they are here to manage everything, but when it comes to shopping, catering, or choosing your marriage hall, they can only suggest their best options. The final say had to be yours, or Mr. Lance, or both. It's so you don't feel left out." He added cautiously, "So you should probably move now if you want to be there on time." It took courage to say even that. Last time Jian Cheng had really felt bad for Wangji. "And who are you to decide that?" Wang said flatly. A chair ran down Jian Cheng's spine. "Sir, I was just suggesting," he stammered. He silently decided that whatever was going on between Mr. V and Mr. Lan, he should stay far away from it. He shouldn't interfere between couples. He cleared his throat. "So, do you still want me to bring the file you mentioned earlier?" Before Brian could answer, there was a knock. "Come in," he said. So Joey entered cheerful as ever, followed by two staff members carrying a bizarre looking cake. They set it down on the table in front of Wing. "What is this?" Wing asked, irritation sharpening his tone. "It's a cake," Sujui replied brightly. "I can see that," Wing said, holding himself in check. "What I'm asking is, what's it doing here?" "Well," Sujui began. "You and Wang," he caught himself before finishing. Mr. V wouldn't appreciate him calling Mr. Lan by his first name, even though Wangji himself had insisted on it. Sujui continued smoothly. "Sir, you both were supposed to go for your wedding cake tasting today, but earlier Mr. Lan informed us he couldn't make it and said you could finalize whatever you like. He had no problem with it. And from the shopping incident, I guessed you're too busy for the tribal things, so if you couldn't leave your work, I brought it here." It caught Wing off guard. Wangji turning down a chance to spend the day with him. Busy doing what? Imagining how his life would change after marrying a billionaire. Or was it just some petty game spiting him by not showing up, only to earn attention later? Probably the latter. The thought made being smirk, so he was going to teach him today too, lucky him. He was pulled from his thoughts when Sujoi urged, "Please taste the cake, sir," setting two more cakes beside the first. He handed Wing a spoon. "Decide which one you prefer." "And next," Wing said dryly, "you'll bring the entire catering menu to my table." Sujay shrugged. "If you wish, I could arrange that." One sharp glare from Bing told him it wasn't a wish. He quickly explained, "I have a name, sir. It's my job to arrange everything properly and make sure our client is satisfied." I'm just doing my job. Bing sighed and randomly finalized a cake, more to end the conversation than out of any real preference. At last the day had come, their wedding. The wedding hall shimmered with candlelight, each flame mirrored in polished brass. The air carried the scent of fresh lilies and the faint sweetness of peonage wound around the pillars. Sunlight streamed through the high windows, catching on the silk of Wangji's robe. The gold embroidery shimmered with every nervous breath he took. He stood before the mirror, his posture stiff, his fingers flexing and curling against the fabric, as if even the sleeves made him uneasy. His slightly long hair had been drawn back into a formal knot, secured with a carved white jet pin. You got that face again. Soyan drawled from the corner, sprawled on the low couch as though this were a casual afternoon tea. What face? Wang Ji asked without looking at him. The one that says you're about to make history or a terrible mistake. You should have gone to those cake tastings. Could have been excuse to sit across from him and actually talk. Wang Ji's gaze didn't waver from the mirror. He's difficult to meet. Difficult? So Yang repeated, smirking. Wangji, you don't dodge a mountain because it's steep. You climb it. Besides, half the fun is in the climb. Wangji's jaw tightened. Honestly, Wangji, you could at least pretend you're excited. You're about to marry Mr. V. So Yang grinned, leaning forward. I had reasons, Wangji murmured, eyes fixed on his reflection. So Yang snorted. Reasons, right. You're nervous, and instead of facing him, you hit. But here's the thing, moments like that, they are how people actually get to know each other. If you'd say yes even once, maybe he wouldn't still be looking at you like you're some stranger he's been forced to share a stage with. Wangji's fingers stilled on the sleeve hem. A faint crease appeared between his brows, the only sign that Suyang's words had hit home. At the altar, Wing already stood, his posture straight, his heart strong beneath the calm. Then the doors opened, and Wangji appeared, his father at his side. Wing's breath caught as he watched him walk steadily down the aisle, and for a moment, just a moment, his mind emptied. The sunlight turned Wangji's skin into pale gold, his dark eyes calm and unreadable, framed by lashes that cast faint shadows on his cheek. The robe flowed around him like water, every step carrying an understated grace that felt almost unreal. It struck Wing, unbidden. This is the person I'm supposed to despise. The thought came uninvited. How could anyone look like that? The thought snapped like a twig underfoot. He straightened his shoulders, forcing the sudden rush of heat in his chest into something cold. So it's true, every devil hides behind an angelic face. Mr. Lan placed Wangji's hand into Wang's, his voice low but steady. I hope you won't let me or your father down. Take care of him, son. Wang's fingers closed around Wangji's hand but reluctantly. The instant Wangji felt his touch, he looked up only to find Bing's gaze already on him. The wing showed nothing outwardly. Wangji sensed the faint resentment in his eyes. What why? Was it because Mr. V wasn't there? At that moment, the priest cleared his throat and the ceremony began, each step of the ritual unfolding with perfect decorum. The offering, the bows, the ritual words. When the moment for the kiss arrived, the officiant voice rang clear. Seal your vows with a kiss. For a heartbeat, everything stilled. Wangji turned to him, still and steady, waiting, not pushing, not presuming, just there, close enough for the faint scent of sandalwood to curl between them. Wing made his gaze, then looked away as if nothing had been asked. His lips stayed closed, his hands calm at his sides. The officiant cleared his throat, the gaze shifted, then Song Lang nudges him, giving him a hint. Wing stepped closer to Wangji, just enough to make the distance seem intentional. His lips curved faintly, not in affection, but in something light enough to pass as a smirk. His head tilted ever so slightly as if giving permission, though in truth he left just enough space that their lips never fully met. From the shades it looked flawless, a restrained, elegant gesture in keeping with the solemnity of the day. The guest murmured approval. Wangji's eyes lingered on him for a heartbeat longer than custom required. If he noticed anything amiss, it didn't show. Only he felt the absence, the space between what everyone thought they saw and what truly passed. After the ceremony ended, everyone stepped forward to congratulate them, offering their blessing with warm smiles. Soon it was time for Wangji to bid farewell to his father, but by then Wang was nowhere to be seen. Madame Liu had also disappeared right after the guests had finished giving their blessing. Wangji had no idea where Wing had gone or how long he had been away. He thought back to that day when Bing had made him stand waiting during their shopping trip for reasons never explained. But today was different. Today was their wedding day, the beginning of a new journey they were meant to walk together. If there was a problem or some reason for his sudden disappearance, sudden Wing had told him first. And an edge tightened in his chest. He stood there among the fading laughter and emptying hall, realizing he had no idea what to do or where to go, with no one left to turn to. Even his next step felt uncertain. For the first time, Wangji felt utterly alone in a moment that was supposed to belong to the two of them. A hollow ache grew in Wangji's chest, but he couldn't let his father see what was happening. Quietly, he asked Xianwang to escort Mr. Lan home. When his father protested, insisting that he should wait to meet Wing before leaving, Wangji did something he had never done before. He lied. He told his father that Wing had only stepped out to share a drink with a few friends, promising to return quickly. In truth, it was a lie to both of them, a fragile shell to cover the uncertainty gnawing at his heart. As his father's figure disappeared from sight, Wangji felt a weight press against his chest, as though the lie he had spoken had already left a shadow on the path they were meant to walk together. That's it for today, guys. But before I end, I just want to say when there are no comments, it sometimes feels like my story isn't reaching anyone. So if you have even a small thought, please leave it. It means a lot to me to know this story is connecting with you. I would really appreciate it. So please comment whatever comes to your mind. I mean, I just want to see that there's are people who watching my stories. Okay, see you in the next part.